Hey everybody, it's Frank from the Music Gallery. Welcome. I am really excited because today I'm headed out to the Fender Custom Shop that's in Corona, California. And you know, I've made this trip before and I think you've seen some videos, but this time it's going to be a little bit different. My plan is to tour the custom shop with my GoPro camera, interview the master builders, the research and development guys, Josephina, and whoever will let me get a few minutes on camera with them. I called ahead, let them know that my plan was to ask them about their favorite part of building guitars, and I'm hoping there'll be some cool demonstrations, some unique insight, and a look at the master builders' new workplaces. They've also just implemented a new design lounge, and we'll be getting the first official look at it. Hope you're excited. I am. Let's head out to California. Now, this is a factory tour, and I did use this GoPro, so the audio is a little rough at times. But once you spend a couple of minutes getting used to the noise, picking out the voices is pretty easy. So sit back, relax, get ready to learn a thing or two from the masters. About ready to walk into the new design lounge, and I'm here with Paul Van Dam, our Midwest rep for Fender. But you're not going to see him on camera. You're going to hear him because he's going to be holding the camera. That's right. So you're going to be the mystery person for the next couple hours.
Sounds good.
So we're going to walk in and show you the Fender Custom Shop.
Come on in. Let's take a look.
Here we go. We are here at Fender Custom Shop Design Lounge. Brand new, amazing place. We're going to spend the next half hour hanging out with all the master builders. I'm going to kind of share some of their passion of guitar building. I'm going to pass that on to you guys. We're going to meet with Josephina, who hand winds pickups, all the main guys here at Fender Custom Shop. So get ready for a great little tour. I'll walk you through it. First, take you through the design lounge, and we'll start there and treat you to a couple of awesome looking displays. So let's take a walk. Hey everybody, I'm here at the Fender Custom Shop with Mr. John Cruz.
How are you?
Good, John. Good, John. Thanks for your time. And
oh, no problem. No problem.
We're in John's building area.
Cubby hole.
This is each one of the builders has their own special benches. These facilities are brand new. They just redid these. This is amazing.
Yes,
I mean,
we're in the midst of finishing up pretty soon. It's going to be something else.
Yeah, the last time I was here, you had the same kind of setup.
Right.
But they've just given you plenty of beauty,
a lot more space
more
to put things in and get rid of a lot of clutter that we've built up over the years and stuff. But it's a good thing to have that. It makes us think a little bit clearer, to be able to know where everything's at and get through and get done what we need to.
Yeah, it looks absolutely great. And John's going to take us through a step in the building process that's very important, and also one of the one of your favorite parts of building.
Yeah.
One of the most important because it all evolves around the feel,
sure,
the neck.
Sure.
And one of the things that master built guitars are so well known for is the playability and, like you say, those nice rolled fret edges. So what you're going to do is kind of show us what's involved, kind of a sped up version.
Sure.
But why when you grab a master built guitar and you put your hands around it, you just feel that nice smooth round fret edges.
Exactly.
And all the little attention, especially the little tangs on the end where the frets hang out and all that. We're gonna get a little quick demo here.
Yeah, basically it's this is basically the heart and soul of a guitar for me is in the neck and how it feels when you pick it up. Right away, the minute you pick it up, you've already got your hands around it. You want it to feel like, wow, this is already feeling really good to me. So one of the things that we do to get there, to get to that point, is I like to roll the fret edges of my boards a little bit, especially the vintage stuff that I do. So I'll usually do it with a single edge blade just on the sides right here, cut away a little bit of the wood, just very slightly, not overdone, because once you cut away a lot of the wood, it's gone. It's no coming back.
Sure.
And it's a feel thing, man. I've done it quite a few years now, and I just kind of know what feels good and hopefully feels good to our customers too. So after I do that, it's a little bit of a rough edge. I'll usually come back with some sandpaper and just kind of roll the edge a little bit more and get rid of any of the sharp spots that are on there. But I'll do that throughout both sides of the neck. Takes me about a good 40-45 minutes to do a neck.
Wow, that much time.
Yeah,
Wow.
sometimes I can do it a little bit quicker if I'm like in a hurry to get some stuff done, but I like to take my time on this because this is, like I said, this is, for me, is the soul of the guitar when you pick it up.
Yeah, how about that?
We also use these diamond edge edge files to roll over the fretboard, or roll over the frets itself, ever so slightly, and break off any of the sharp edges, and then usually come back with some paper and hit it. And that's usually a rough thing that we do with the neck before we tape it up and put it into paint. Of course, when we get it out of paint, there's a little bit more details, get rid of any of the paint edges on there, break it back slightly again, and then we'll do the level and dress at the end. And
so more work again once it comes out of paint.
Oh yeah, this is just a rough edge thing to get it into paint so that we know when it comes out, just a matter of just clean up, the level and dress, and of course the sand and buff, or not if it's a relic guitar, and it's ready to go on the guitar.
That's great.
Yeah, to me that's just the feel, the whole feel of the guitar has got to be there, because a lot of guys like me would play with their thumbs over the edge, kind of like Jeff Beck would, and it's got to feel good. You don't want it to be hanging up or too sharp on the edges right there. And I learned that from John English a long time ago. He says, man, that's the feel. The guy's going to pick it up and he'll drop that guitar and say, nah, I don't like that one if it doesn't feel right to him.
Sure.
So our job here is to make every guitar feel like this is going to be my number one. That's always been my attitude towards making guitars. I want it to be somebody's number one.
That's great. Well, we know all you folks. Next time you're in the shop, I'll put one of John's guitars in your hands.
See what we're talking
see
about.
Exactly what we're talking
Exactly.
about. John, thanks so much for your time.
Oh, you're very welcome.
This is a great education. I learned a little something I'm going to pass on to everybody. And everybody watching is going to want one of your guitars.
Oh, that's awesome. Anytime, man. That's what we're here for.
We're going to go and walk down the road and
All right. Plenty to see here today.
Yes,
Can do.
I don't know who we're going to see next, but stay tuned, folks. Hey, everybody. I am here in Todd Krause's workspace. Todd, welcome.
You welcome.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You. Welcome you.
Well, thanks for inviting us to come by here today and spend some time with you. You've been building guitars for the shop for, 20 years. I mean, I remember when you first came on board, it was, I was just getting started as, like
74?
No, this goes, I want to say like early 90s.
Oh yeah.
It's about when you...
I started here in 91, which is I think over 26 years now.
Yeah.
And I had 10 years prior experience at Charvel Jackson,
And that's,
which kind of, if you think about it, explains some of the weird stuff that I do. Because I got a little bit of that in my DNA. That sky's the limit, just being outside of the Fender world in the Jackson Charvel, and then being in the Fender world. I mean, it's two completely different guitars.
And when I came on board, when they started the Diamond Dealer program, and that was right around 91, 92. And because my shop was never a vintage store, vintage Fenders or Gibsons or anything like that, I was more dialed into Charvel, Jackson, the newer companies, Kramer, Dean Guitars, and I felt much more comfortable working with you as a master builder because of a lot of the older builders at that time were so into creating old Fenders.
Yeah, the vintage thing was still like an underground movement at that point. I mean, there was always vintage collectors, but the vintage guitar thing hadn't taken off quite yet.
Right.
Not long after that.
Yeah. Anyway, so, and I remember some of the very first Masterbuilder guitars I got in my shop were yours. That's how we started. And it's been great ever since. And you got something really cool looking here. You wanna?
Well, they let us kind of run loose here sometimes, and this was actually inspired by Jay has a test body down there that he sprays colors on as a sample of, is this the correct color, right?
And Jay's your
Painter, yeah,
okay.
the Masterbuilder painter. And that body has so much paint on it, it weighs a ton, because he never takes it off, he just adds another coat. So, I mean, even the routes have gotten small. I posted it on Instagram. You can tell because it's got it's a Daphne blue body, and then it's got a stripe on there. And I saw it, I thought, that actually is kind of cool. There was something about it that was like, so I asked him, I said, do you mind if I do that? And this is like where my brain, being formerly from Charvel and Fender, comes into play. It's just like, this is not a typical Fender thing. This is more typically of a Charvel thing.
Yeah.
But once again, you know, like with the katanas, the katana was, when it came out, was a bad version of a Jackson. It's like, well, I worked at both companies, so I'm the one most likely to build that guitar, which I do. But this started out being a competition stripe, and I thought, well, wait a minute, what if I do checks? I just got this vision of the checkerboard pattern, just being more over the top. You know, and this was an experiment I did just to see how it works. And what's cool about it is, what came first, the burst or the checks?
Oh, wow.
Because there's an illusion going on here, and there's no top coat on it, so you won't see any of this texture. So the squares will just kind of blend into the side.
I'll be done.
Originally, I was going to do color on color, which this is technically, but I was going to do like vintage white on top of the burst. But then that creates this conundrum on the side. You either have to burst the white, or you have to mask off a line around the edge. And I thought this was just way more cooler. It just has kind of this dark, smoky look to it. And it just really spoke to me. So I have the real deal in process, which will be the whole front. And I'm going to do that one as a new old stock. And then I'm kind of kicking around an idea of going back to doing the original idea of the color on color, so that there's something on the back. I could put the squares on the back too as well, but then the contour kind of disrupts things, and you would have to cover this up. And then at that point I was like, well, that, and then you got the plate in here, so it's like, well, it kind of just defeats the purpose. But doing it as a relic, I could put the paint over it, then do the wear, and have all these different layers of things, so that it looks like an old guitar that somebody had and then customized in the 80s, or
Sure.
you know.
Sure.
Yeah, I know it seems odd. It's just like, but that's, you know, this is where a lot of the fun is when we get to experiment with things like this.
Sure. And I think you said this was a guitar you were experimenting with for this upcoming show that Fender's going to have for their. This is not like a NAMM thing. This is a Fender event that they do annually, where they invite us, dealers, small group of dealers.
Yeah, domestic dealer show.
Many of you know that in the middle of the year, I go out to a show, and usually it's in the Scottsdale, or it's either here or it's at the headquarters.
Yeah.
And it's a dealer event, and I come back with a bunch of cool guitars, and this is a piece that Todd's going to be creating for that. I might get lucky and bring it home, and might not. But
I can do other versions too as well. You know what's fun about this stuff is once you figure out the mechanics of the stuff. I mean, I'll be honest. This is clever, but it's not hard to do. This is something we can repeat. It's not, oh, I only want to do one of those because it's so hard. You know, so it's like, and sometimes the simple ideas, you know, work really well, just as well as opposed to doing something very, very elaborate. Of course, with the custom inlays and that, and you know, anything else I want to throw in there. But a lot of what I do, you know, when I do stuff like this is like it's like that's what I want to walk out on stage with. You know, the guitar with the, you know, that was painted like a trout. You know, all these these things I've done, you know, the Corncaster, shit.
Right.
I would have loved to play that on stage. So that's my personality. There's a little bit of humor in there. That's what drives this, you know.
Sure.
Different for the sake of being different.
Well, that's great. Well, and I thank you so much for taking some time and explaining that, sharing that with us, because you have built so many amazing guitars for us. And we've seen so many amazing guitars that I never got a chance to get because they were only one-offs, and we see them at these particular shows. And
there's been so many that I wanted to keep.
I bet.
You know, sometimes it's hard to let them go.
Well, thank you so much for your passion and sharing that with us. And you guys know out there that when you come into the store and you grab one of Todd's guitars, and we just got 3 gold things that you got done. I'm telling you, these are the kind of pieces.
There's still remnants on the floor here.
Oh yeah, there's some. Just so you know, guys, when you come in, please ask me. Let me get a couple of Todd's guitars down for you and put them in your hands, and you can feel the passion that goes into these guitars that we build. And I want to thank you so much for doing that for us for all these years, and we look forward to doing it many years in the future too.
Well, thank you. I will continue to do that as long as I can. I'm still learning new tricks and new things. As a friend of mine says, there's still some candy left in this pinata.
Love it. Todd, thanks so much for your time. It was great. Thanks for inviting me out, and all the guys.
Anytime.
I'm sure everybody here from the Music Gallery. Thanks, you too.
And I look forward to seeing you next time I get up there.
Cool.
Chicago is one of my favorite cities, if not the favorite city.
Oh, that's cool.
You know, that's the place to go to eat.
Well, we'll have to get Joe. We'll have to get Joe to get you up for another road show. It'd be fun.
One of these days.
Yuriy, right? How you doing, man? Doing good, thank you. How are you? Great. I'd just like to welcome you to all our fans at the Music Gallery, in Highland Park. I know almost old home for you, being from Chicago.
Hometown of my daughter.
Yeah.
That's where she was born.
Yeah. And of course, you've built us so many great guitars over the years, and they've given you a brand new kind of like senior master builder special position now. You're doing
Principal master builder.
yeah, and it incorporates a lot of what you do. None of the other builders are. You're in a kind of class by yourself now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's different job a little bit. So mainly responsible for very high-end instruments with a lot of inlay work and jewelry work, something like that in the past.
Yeah.
Now it will be concentrating on that. And really excited, looking forward to doing more projects.
Well, great. Well, I know when we go to the NAMM show every year, I can't wait to see what creation Yuriy has come up with, and it's they're masterpieces. That's all I can say. Now you're going to show me something you created here. It's like one of your tools of working on these guitars. That is it?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. It's not so much of a tool, it's just a setup bench, which is really important and necessary in my case to create inlay work, like wire inlay work, stuff that require, for example, in carving. And this bench allows me to adjust it to positions with basically angles. You know, got some adjustments here that goes, from very shallow all the way up to here. And when I work on the top, for example, I also have this picture. It's like almost like merry-go-round turntable.
Oh wow! Yeah.
So what I do is just use a couple of spots. Then the body goes in here a lot, and what it allows me when I do inlay work to have a perpendicular view, especially if I do carving. Sometimes doing carving, the same principle as it does in, you have to rotate the object and have a stationary hand in position when you're doing that. So this is really cool tool, jig, fixture, or bench, whatever you call it. Really happy about using it all the time.
And you created this. This is your...
Yeah, I don't think it's like rocket science. It's very simple, but very convenient and functional. That's what most important part.
Neat. Well, hey, thank you so much for sharing that with us. It was a treat, and we are going to look for some of your creations, certainly at all the shows, and we wish you nothing but more continued success.
Thank you.
Congratulations on that great new position. It's awesome.
So much.
Yeah, thanks for spending a little time with us. Thanks again, guys. And we're back at Fender Custom Shop. I am with Greg Fessler right now. Greg, man, good to see you.
Great to see you, Frank, as always.
Well, thanks for inviting us out here.
And we just redid the shop, so it's pretty cool, huh?
It is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, we went through, we saw a couple of the other builders already. And this is your new base,
Yeah.
which is a lot more room.
It's roomy. I did surf green on the walls. I wanted to do a Fender color, so I did that. It's pretty crazy in here before they put the cabinets up. They painted it all. I was green when I walked in here, but now they broke it up. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's one of my favorite colors. The surf and seafoam.
Yeah,
are, you can always.
That's what I think. I like it too. I like it too a lot. So.
Well, we're. My question here when I wrote to all you guys and called you up was, gee, what's one of your favorite processes or steps in guitar building? And I'm going to ask you that question. I mean, when there's one of the things you really look forward to when you build a guitar for our shop or some people, I mean, what's one of those cool things for you?
Well, my thing is wood. I love wood. I like looking at wood. I like picking wood out. So what I'll do is I'll end up going to our wood area over there. I call it the wood pile. And we'll just go over there and I'll go through and search for pieces that I like. If somebody wants a really nice piece of flame maple, I try to look for that. I go and get bird's eye, whatever. Even plain grain stuff, straight grain stuff. I'll try to, I got a certain thing that I'm looking for that I want to put on my guitars, and that's what I go out the wood pile for to see if they have something cool.
So are we going to be able to go
we can go right now and check it out. So,
well, that's cool. But you know what? I saw a couple of pieces over here, and this is something that takes us back to your first beginning of your master building when you were
like a youngin', a young guy. I'm not.
Well, me too.
Yeah, we're not as young as we used to be. That's for sure. But yeah, this is Frank. We were talking, and Frank, you saw this, and Frank said, "Oh, you're doing one of those." Yeah. So this is. It used to be called a rumboard, but now we're calling them a sprees, which is what the original name was. And I'm starting to make a couple of these things a year now. They're pretty time consuming and stuff, and I picked out the wood and the top on this one, so it's really pretty spectacular.
And you built all the round boards.
For the most part, Gene did a couple of them at first, and then Dennis was my apprentice for a while, and I taught him how to make these. And he made about 20 or 30 of them or something like that. But I made the majority of them, like 400 of them or something like that, I think, over the course of time. I did them for 7 years, and then they put me in the Fender one. So
here we are.
Yeah, here we are. So that's okay. But anyway, let's go over to the wood pile, and I'll show you guys what we have.
All right, here we go.
Okay, here we go. Come on. All the custom shop cool.
Oh, cool. Oh, check that out.
This is all climate control here. Humidity control.
So this is climate and...
This is climate and humidity control right here. Because like I say, we want to make sure that all the wood's not moving or getting weird. So we just try to get this out of the way. So yeah, we got a little bit of everything. We got some roasted wood over here. You know, flame. So this is like regular, just straight grain stuff. But they also have some we have some cool figure stuff too. Here's some really nice, pretty nice bird's eye right here.
Oh wow,
You can see. But like I said, this is all stuff all the master builders can come in here and access this stuff right here if they want to look through it. You know, like I said, now I like to do this, so this is something I enjoy a lot. So I'll go through all these pieces of wood until I find something I really like. You know, nice piece of straight grain in a quarter sawn, which gives it a lot of strength. I like to use quarter sawn on most of my stuff. If people ask for plain grain, that's fine as well. I mean, you know, the old days, Leo, that's what he used, plain grain. So a lot of people have a feel like, well, you know, that's what they used in the old days, so that's cool. I said I haven't really talked to the guys yet lately about what they have. But yeah, here's some nice roasted bird's eye. Nice stuff. Cool. Yeah, it's cool.
That's beautiful.
Really beautiful piece right there. That's gorgeous. And like I said, people can get inspired, you know, saying, hey, that's really beautiful. I'd like to do something really cool, like a NOS guitar or something like that. You know, even relics. You know, I've done relic roasted stuff. Figured it would. So our wood guy is probably out in the mill. He's the guy that knows where all the super cool stuff is. Generally, because he'll change the stock and stuff, and he'll rotate them. And
this rotates right.
yeah, this rotates around. You know, we do a lot of guitars, but this is all, like I said, master built most of this stuff right here. This is what the special stuff that we try to keep in here. And let's see if I can find some plain music here. That's interesting. That's a really big bird's eye. Pretty cool. Another roasted piece. Really, you know, really sharp. I like the weird looking figure in it and stuff. I don't know if you can see that kind of with the light.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's very cool.
You can see it move.
Beautiful.
Yeah, really nice stuff. Like, sometimes I'll be in here for like an hour just picking wood out, you know, because I just like it. Plus I hide out. Yeah. I close the door here, nobody knows where
you find something, it's like, well, this is really good. And the deeper you go, it's like, oh, this is really good.
Yeah, and that's what happens a lot. You're like, well, I think I found that piece. Like, oh, let me check out a couple more.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a minute, you know, but like I said, I got Mikey trained now, so he kind of knows what I want.
Yeah.
And same with Jose, our body spread guy. I've kind of got him trained to what I like. So I go, hey, I got something cool over here. And that's what they'll end up doing. They'll kind of keep it for me, and then I'll end up stashing it, squirreling it away. So it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy that aspect. That's probably the most enjoyable aspect of it.
I love this too. This is roasted.
Yeah, the roasted stuff's really.
And it's roasted
really
quarter sawn.
nice.
You can see the real tight lines there and how they extend up into here. This is a really, really strong piece of maple.
Yeah.
So, and the coloring on it because of the roasting aspect is really nice. And it seems like all quarter sawn has a bit of flame into it too.
Like it.
Yeah.
That is some super
This has a
tight.
very, very faint bit of flame.
That's some really tight grain right
Yeah.
there. So this thing's gonna be strong as can be. It's
Yeah.
gonna be hard to keep on.
The hard rock maple.
That is hard rock maple.
Yeah.
I mean, it's heavy. You can feel how heavy. I mean, it's got some density.
Oh my gosh,
to it, too.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing that's, you know, I look for something like that. You know, it's gonna have.
This piece of wood feels like 10 times the weight of that body that Dennis built.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's got, like I say, you can get a baseball bat out of that thing, you know. I mean, it is.
This would hurt somebody.
heavy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's got some, yeah, it is. So, you know, that's what I look for. Like I said, I'll sit there and like I said, they got the grain over here. You can see how tight the grain is, you know, right in this here. You know, this is a little bit wider. This is super tight right here. And I'll just sit there and do that, you know, and I'll be in here, like I said, for sometimes an hour and just looking at the stuff and picking out stuff that I like. But I say, I always get heads up from my guys, and when they tell me if they got something cool, I run right down here and check it out. And pick it out.
That's great. Well, hey, this was a learning experience. This was fun.
Yeah, it is fun. It's fun. A lot of people don't know about that stuff, but you know, it makes a difference. You know, that's why it's you know what it is. You know, it's like Masterbuilder. We try to go through all the aspects of it, try to pick out the nicest stuff we want. Pretty interesting.
Well, wonderful.
Okay.
Great, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks for inviting us out, of course, and
time spent.
Sure, yeah, I'm glad.
We keep learning.
Yeah.
So,
Great to see you again, friend.
thank you so much.
Hey, I'm here now at the booth of Dennis Galuzska. Great facility.
Yeah.
This is all new from last time?
Half new. I kind of had I wanted to keep a lot of my stuff that I enjoyed, but yeah, some of it's new. Anyway, newish, slightly cleaner. But a busy workspace is a dirty workspace. So,
Well, I'm here with Dennis, and he just so happens to have a guitar that he's been building for the last month or so.
about a month, yeah.
About a month for one of our customers, and of course, the wonderful, unique thing about a Masterbuilder guitar is it's pretty much carte blanche. Whatever can be done within reasonable situations.
Yeah, if they want to throw enough money at it, absolutely.
Yeah, and you've built some incredible pieces for us
thank you.
throughout the years. I know when we built that guitar for our one-armed guitar player who tragically lost an arm and learned to play with just one hand. You came up with that incredible neck.
Yeah.
So it isn't just about recreating a vintage, Fender Strat or Telecaster, which you guys do phenomenally well. If someone has something really creative that they've always wanted to do, and what we have here is kind of a Strat with a telly and a trem
This is exactly a great example of how this should go, really. This guy had initially ordered the guitar, and when I went over it with him, there was some repricing issues. And at first he was kind of got a little bit of sticker shock and said, well, let's just do a 56 Strat. And I said, no, let's get what you want. How many times are the doors opening here for you? So let's do it. And he talked to his better half there and got clearance to spend the extra money. And what we're going to get out of it is this super custom and unique only to him, which is pretty hip.
Sure.
So he had come down and we sat there we traced and we did all the paper, and I can show you everything we can come up with. But so basically he wants a Strat kind of on the top half and more of a thin line telly on the bottom with a Telecaster neck pickup. Although I routed it for a Strat in case he ever changes his mind, then we can leave a little, there's no harm in leaving a little extra room.
Okay.
So we kind of went back and forth, and this is the pickguard design we came up with after going back and forth.
Oh, how about that?
Several times.
Very cool.
Yeah, so I had to make a custom control route that we've never done before. Stuck that on there to make it all jive, and he was here to decide on the knob and switch location, so I was able to tailor it to exactly what he had wanted. And then he wanted to be able to pull back on the tremolo but have it sit flat on the body, so I made this routing template so that we could drop the tremolo in just a tiny bit without it rubbing on the back plate.
Wow.
And then his color is super duper custom. He wants it to look like when you first pour a stout out of the tap.
Like a Guinness.
Like a Guinness. It has those shades.
Yeah.
So that's what the burst is going to look like. And we brought our painter down, Jay Nelson, and they went back and forth. So
it's going to be custom all the way from the finish to the body.
Yeah.
And when I first came in here before we got on camera, you handed me the body, and I can't believe this thing. This isn't even a pound.
It's going to float away.
Yeah. So
he's going to get what he wants for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, these are the things that are that Custom Shop can't create. And you are the guys that are capable of doing it.
And there's nobody else that does that one-on-one on this scale,
No.
I mean, it's got to kind of stay within the Fender vein. We're not going to make another manufacturer's version of our guitar necessarily.
No, and that's something I always bring. When it starts becoming too much like another brand, it's like, this is a Fender. And
that you guys are doing best. It's absolutely amazing, and thank you so much for giving Paul and myself some time. They don't know what Paul looks like yet because he's been behind the camera, so you're not going to see Paul until the end.
Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know.
Anyway, thanks so much, Dennis.
Well, Frank,
and, it's been all the years. It's just been a pleasure working with you.
Well, likewise. I mean, you are without a doubt our top dealer. I mean, you know how to move this product, explain the product, keep us protected. I mean, it's just. I wish all the dealers would take lessons from Frank.
Well, thanks. It works from both sides, and you support us. And thanks, guys, for checking in and watching us. And we'll show you more coming up.
Can't wait to build your fantasy guitar.
That's right. Take care.
And welcome back. I am now with Paul Waller. Paul,
good to see you.
Good to see you. And of course, all you Music Gallery fans that were at our road show back in, I think it was end of September, October, you were there, and it was a blast. I mean,
oh man,
what a huge success! And I don't know how many guitars we spun off at your building. I think a couple of these might even be for our customers.
I thought it would be suitable for us to maybe shape some of the necks that are going to be headed to your store.
Nice. And when we were talking last week before I came out here, one of the things that is so important to you and one of the things you really enjoy doing is that. I mean, the neck is that's the key to you. It's like, as you were telling me.
Yeah, it's, to me, it's like that's where the player is most connected to the guitar, physically.
Sure.
And then, the better that this tool feels in your hand, obviously, the better you feel like you're playing. So that's all really, really important to me, the playability and the shape of the neck. So specifically, the era of guitar, this being a mid-60s Strat neck, I want to shape the volutes kind of how they would have in that era. Okay. So typically, this was a 50s Telly neck. Mm-hmm. These would be really soft and really rounded over. And then as the years got later, they did less softening. I'm probably speeding up the process of manufacturing. They did less to it. So plus they used some different machines back then to do the rough back shaping on the necks, and that would cause the volutes to be shaped the way that they are. So I'm going to go out there and do a mid-60s and a 50s, and kind of show you the difference between the two and how I like to do it, and why it's so important to me.
Cool. Well, we'll follow you. How about it?
I'm just going to draw a few lines.
Okay.
And then
this is going to be exciting.
So I used to have templates for all this stuff, but after you do it for a couple of decades, you get kind of eyeball it.
Do it in your sleeve.
Yeah, and they were all hand-shaped necks, so that no two were identical anyway. They didn't come off any machinery, so I know the basic shapes where I'm going to start off with, and then just kind of rough it out, and then I'll do a final shape over here on the bench.
I'm going to put my glasses on as we go through the
smells just like when George is shaving a bone nut. You probably won't be able to hear us speak, so we'll just let you watch.
rough shape. That'll be the rough shape of the 50s. I'll do the less soft 60s. Things that's really important to me is when you get into this taller fret wire, you don't want to bevel it too much, otherwise you get the roll off of the string. You know, that's kind of problematic on the Fenders when they got the skinny nut width and the kind of a wide ridge string width. So I always make sure that when I fret these, I keep the ends nice and straight up and down, and I'm just going to put a slight bevel on them. Just to break the edge off a little bit, and then by the time I corner the fret, we don't have that problem with the string rolling off from the tall fret wire. So you can see it's just a very slight bevel, nothing too crazy. On the vintage wire, you can get away with a heavier bevel because it's not so tall. But when you get into this taller stuff, you start to lose real estate as you get up into the atmosphere with the fret wire. So it's something else I like to do, make sure that the playability is still really good on a tall fret wire. This being 6105 on a 9.5 inch radius.
And that's a very popular stuff.
Yeah. And then I'm going to do a little final shaping and then sanding at the bench.
Fun to watch.
And so going to blend the last little bit of the sandpaper lines with the rough grid paper.
And this process, this is just to get the volute.
This is just the volute, yeah. This has nothing to do with really the back shape or anything. This is just the final when you're up in the lower section. Plus, when you look at the guitar, it looks more like an original.
Right.
Which is important when it's kind of what we're selling. You know, we're selling this original Fender relic guitar. It's supposed to look and feel like how it did in the 60s.
Like the original one.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I always tell people, how cool would it be if you could roll up to the Chevy factory and order like a 69 Camaro, but with all the modern appointments of like an LS engine with fuel injection. And
Yeah, that's basically what we have here.
Yeah. So it's not we're in a pretty good place to have this sort of thing going on here. So we can make these cool, basically retro products. And then, you know, package them as new with tags. So that's the next step.
Nothing against the production of those guitars. I mean, they're wonderful things. You know, they're made just steps from here. This kind of attention to detail just doesn't exist in that guitar. And when players come up, walk in the store, and they ask me, like, why is this Masterbuilder guitar, you know, priced so high? Right. What we're watching you do is are steps that aren't taken in production line. This is something that is can only be done by it's not a production line, assembly line type process.
That's correct. And you know, we take great pride, and Buehl takes great pride in making sure that they shape these things the way that they want. And I know I do. So that's great. It's kind of like shaving, you know. There's grain direction.
Yeah.
And then I've got my sanding block with my animal grit.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
Look at that.
taking shape.
That's great. Wow.
And then I'll do a final sand with a 220 grit before it gets its lacquer bath. So
that's great.
You can see that the 50s is really softened. They pick up a vintage guitar, you'll see that these are really wiped out. Not sharp, defined lines, but actually they kind of disappear into the loop. That's kind of what I'm aiming for.
That's great. Wow.
As you get later on into the 60s, they start to sharpen up a little bit.
Yes, yes.
So I'm kind of replicating that there. This would be a 60. No, this is a 72 bullet.
Okay.
Sometimes they're actually really sharp, but to tick off a little bit. I mean, that's kind of the stage, you know, from soft to kind of sharp.
Well, that's wonderful. Wow. I had no idea there was that much like time and detail that you spend just on that one little area. Yet that makes all the difference.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
just one step.
Yeah. Wow. Well, hey, Paul, thanks so much for sharing that one little step, which is huge and very time consuming, but so important.
Yeah.
In the guitar.
Yeah. My pleasure.
And I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I did. And, keep up the good work. We can't wait to see more of your guitars in the shop.
Oh, thanks, sir.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Hey everybody, welcome back, and I'm here with Jason Smith, who's built so many great guitars for us in the shop. And,
well, thanks, Frank.
You know, over the years we've had lots of conversations on the phone and ham, and we've just come through so many times, and I've got guys that just love your guitars, and, you know, got to have another one like Jason.
That's always nice to hear. You know?
Well, you guys, you make the best stuff. Nice. That's just how it is, and thank you. I know we were talking before I came out here, and you told me, you know, like electronics are like you just love just getting into the.
Yeah, I mean, I've always tried to find new ideas for switching, for different tone circuits, just anything that's a variation from our normal, all of the normal circuits.
Sure. And you were just telling me that every now and then you like to use a six-way switch on a Strat, which is which I think is brilliant. And for all you guys out there, the next time I order a couple of Strats, and I know I have some on order, and I always ask you to call before build. We're gonna do this because
cool.
Tell us what this is. It's a six-way switch, and go through it because it's fascinating, and I think a lot of you guys are going to want to have a Strat with this extra switch. So tell us about it.
So basically, this is a 6-position blade switch by the Electra Switch. Mm-hmm. Electra Switch is the company that makes all the switches for us. Okay. So basically, what I ended up doing is I wired position 1 through 5 like a standard Strat, okay. And then position 6, which is all the way up, I wired so you get the combo of neck and bridge.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, so it gives you a little more of that telly kind of quackiness, and which you typically wouldn't get on a
with a
Strat.
Yeah. So you get that 6th position.
Yeah.
And it's right there in the switch. It doesn't look any differently. All it does is give you one more great position.
Exactly.
How cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. And these are the things, I mean, the electronic side, these are the things that you love to come up with.
Yeah. I always try to come up with something different offerings. I did a single humbucker Strat couple years back for NAMM that had a 5-way switch in it. And guys were just intrigued by the fact that, you know, why is there a switch on a guitar that's a single pickup? Well, it's like because it's 5 different unique tones that you're actually getting out of this. So what I ended up doing with that is position 1, you had a standard hum. Position 2 was the hum split. 3 was I had the rear coil running through a capacitor, so it boosted the low end. 4 was the full humbucker running through a diode clipping circuit, so it gave you that the tone you kind of get out of a tube amp when it's just starting to break up. And 5 was that clipping circuit with the tones with the tone cap on the rear coil, so it was that same kind of clipping sound but a little warmer. And the guys here were kind of blown away by it because it sounded, in certain positions, it sounded like a tone you would get out of a neck pickup, and it was just a bridge humbucker. You know, and it ended up working.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to work, and we're gonna put a few of these in our next round of guitars.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool.
Right,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time, and we'll look for some of your great guitars. Hey, welcome back, and I am here with Ron Thorn.
Yes, sir. Pleasure.
The newest Masterbuilder.
That's right.
Your association with Fender goes back to 1995.
That's correct, yeah.
1995. And if any of you have been in the store, either owned a piece or have seen one in the store that has inlay work, this is the man. I mean, you're the guy, right? I mean, with the exception of a few, like some of the things Yuriy has done, whenever we see any of the inlay work, like if you've seen some of the Dennis Galuzska guitars with the surfboard, like surfboard strats, any of those cool inlays with the little surf guy and all that, those are all good work.
Yes.
And
these fingertips.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I would have to say that that's one of your obviously that's one of your passions. And now being a master builder, you get to incorporate.
Absolutely. I can't wait for that. That's exactly it. Yes, it's definitely my passion. It's what I've been doing for the custom shop since '95. Lots of work through them, and even as simple as block inlay. Sure. Lots of that, which it's not extremely challenging, but it's still a lot of work. Getting it nice and tight and precise, and that's why the custom shop came to me, so that it was nice and a super tight fit. But yeah, I can't wait to start incorporating some elaborate inlays into pieces. My first two pieces are right here. I'm just going to do tortoise shell blocks. Again, not the most challenging, but it'll be a nice look. And if, for example, here's some koi casters that I've done in the past, and continuing a few of those.
Oh, and I see the photo in the book is
one of the completed ones. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all your work.
That's all my work. Yes.
Oh, wow.
That was Todd and I collaborated on that, and I came up with the design, and most of the pieces are hand cut, and then they're all hand inlaid into the body and into the fretboard.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, I can tell you, that's definitely I've seen Todd's work. And all that time here, I didn't know that you're the man responsible for that. That's awesome.
Yes. And that inlay part is fun and challenging. Also, some other aspects like this build, as far as the body construction goes, it's a multi-piece to represent the dock, because it's supposed to be like you're standing on a dock looking at a koi pond. So these are representative of the planks.
Oh, sure.
And then it overhangs the quilt, which is the top. So I had to go in and essentially inlay the quilt top into the body spread.
Oh.
So little things like that. You may not even pick up on it, but it's quite challenging. And that's the other enjoyable part of working with these guys, is unique details like that. The project I'm working on right now is a bandoline. Fender made two of these in 1966, and it's a very narrow nut. It's a 1 3/16 nut, and it's a 6-string, but it's really like strung up like a mandolin with a 4-string.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
Wow.
That's a fun build too.
Now,
look at how narrow that is.
It's amazingly narrow.
Yes.
Now, is this going to be something for like the NAMM show? Or?
This was an order. This was a custom order for Jen in Canada. Ordered this, so no tooling for this exists at all. There's nothing kicking around. I went through the drawers looking for some old drawings or anything.
No
Nothing.
help.
No help. So,
but this is the beauty. This is what a true custom shop is.
Yeah.
There's almost the only limitation is if it can't be done. Where physically, where none of the guys can figure it out. Otherwise, if it's something that can be connected to Fender, such as this, the guys will create it.
that is,
And
you know how fun that is? How fun that is, just building something completely unique and one-off and from scratch. The scale length is 26 1/4. There's nothing. There's no jig here for that. Everything is totally unique. So this is extremely rewarding for me. It's just blank slate. Go for it. Here's the specs, and make everything it takes to make that.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Absolutely.
That's what my trip is all about. Showing the players out there what you guys are all about, what fuels your passion, and why you get up and do it every day. And I thank you so much.
What a great gig, right?
Sharing, yeah. How about,
I know.
And I feel so blessed that I get to take your beautiful works and bring them to these guys out in my neck of the woods. And it's all good. It works both ways. So keep
Much
up that
appreciated.
good work, and I'll be out here again next year.
All right.
Ron, thanks so much.
Pleasure meeting you. Thank you very much. Thanks,
Take care.
guys. This is going to be the logo for this neck and these other necks. So it's a piece of abalone, and I've plotted out the spaghetti logo onto it. I've glued it down onto a piece of paper, and now I'm going to take a jeweler saw, a fine blade, and I'll hand cut that out. And since I'm getting up there in the age, the old microscope, it's certainly helpful. So get this fed in. We're partway through the cut right now, and here we go. Once this is cut out, I'll go in there with a little needle file and clean up any saw marks and make it a nice smooth surface, and glue it into the cavity once I check the fit and confirm that it goes in there all right.
Welcome back, and I'm here with Kyle McMillin, the second newest Masterbuilder since March.
Yeah.
But you have Kyle has a long history with Yuriy.
Yeah.
Yuriy, of course, I have a connection with because he came here from Russia to Chicago. Got his all his experience with large point guitars before he came out to Fender, so we share that Chicago vibe. And 5 years working with Yuriy, and now you're moved up to his position, which is really cool. You've got to have something in all the guitar building that you've done for the last 5 years. What's you're working on a guitar here, and you said this is like something that's like just totally lights you up.
Yeah, I love doing the custom work on this. I just attached the template for the controls here, so you can't see what's going on underneath, but it's got a tremolo for a Floyd Rose.
A Floyd Rose trem on a Jaguar.
Yeah.
How cool is that? And so what, give us a little lowdown on what you're going to be building here.
Well, that's basically it. It's just a custom Jaguar with a Floyd Rose, and it's going to have these same routes, maybe some special switching. Figured that part out here. I got so far just one humbucker. Haven't figured out what I'm going to do here. I thought maybe another humbucker or a telly pickup. It's kind of like an R&D thing for me. Just maybe I'll try this, maybe I'll try that. And this is the fun part that I like, is doing all the woodworking and the routing. I just love it.
That's great, great. Have there been any other projects like this that you've done recently?
There's one I'm working on now, and I can't share it because it's for NAMM show.
Oh, okay.
So I got to keep it on the DL.
Oh, and it seems like NAMM was just here, which it was now.
And now we're getting ready for the next one.
Nice, nice. Well, that's great. Well, listen, certainly welcome to the Masterbuilder Custom Shop family. I've been doing the products since almost day one, and seen all your work that has been on Yuriy's guitars. So just looking forward to having some of the guitars built by you. I'll certainly look for your next project again.
I'm looking forward to building it. Looking forward to building guitars for you.
Awesome. Look forward. Maybe one of these days we'll get you out for a road show.
Absolutely.
Hey, thanks so much for your time, Kyle.
No problem.
And we'll look for some of your work at the shop.
Alrighty.
Everyone, welcome back, and we're here with Scott Buehl. Scott, you have been with Fender since the, like, 86?
87.
87. Okay. And part of Custom Shop since the beginning. Really.
Close to the very beginning, there were just a few guys here when it started.
You Masterbuild, you are the assistant, you help all these Masterbuilders out with the real trouble, like the real nitty gritty. Some of the, like, you were showing me this particular guitar here that I remember was, this was like back in what, early 90s maybe?
No, that was later on after the turn of the century.
Okay, but it's an aluminum body. Yeah, and you were there with you created the Harley Davidson. That was
I worked on the Harley Davidson with Jason Davis back in the 90s.
Okay. Yeah, and of course our customers know. I mean, I pulled anytime we have a Fender Custom Shop event, that's one of the guitars that comes out of the.
Yeah, it's pretty and flashy and
truly a unique, one of a kind piece. And you're also responsible for so many inventions that come up with Fender. And you're telling me the FSR bridges, is that
RST bridges? Yeah.
Sorry.
So that started a few years ago. It's just kind of improvements maybe on existing things, and I really can't deviate too much from what we do because the vintage guys will hate it. I mean, they might hate it anyway, but all I'm trying to do is to make something that like there's got to be some kind of advantage in the way that it sounds or looks or intonates or whatever, stays in tune. So I've worked on some bass bridges. I've worked on the Strat, bridges for the Jazz Masters, Jaguars, anything that rocks in those cups.
Yes, we've noticed those in the last several that have come in.
Yeah,
they're tremendous. I mean, they work, like you said. You know, it's important to maintain the vintage, but if it remains as close to vintage but works better, that's all we're looking at.
It doesn't look like a vintage bridge, and it certainly doesn't sound like it. It's got a lot more of a, there's a mid-rangey, really primary note coming from that bridge. You can't pull the strings out of the slots. I mean, you can pull them to the side and break them off, and they will not come out of those slots, which is a problem with the vintage style bridge.
Sure.
So my boss told me, hey, can you make something that works on these guitars? So everybody loves them. I thought people would hate it because the first one I did, I put it together, threw it on a Jazz Master, and hit a chord, and I thought, oh my gosh, I ruined this. It didn't sound at all like it did before, but everybody that played it liked it more. It was very, just way more definition and way more, and it looks neat. People like the look.
Oh, yeah, the look is definitely.
Yeah, it's a solid chunk of material. Everything, the saddles and everything are all connected together really tight. And so it's not that other bridge, the vintage one, has a very thin piece of channel, not a lot of pressure over the saddle. So when you have a height adjusting screw, then disconnects it a little more. Inside the thread, nobody thinks about that, but in the thread inside the saddle, there's a not very good continuity, and then into the plate, not very good continuity. There's no pressure because it breaks over that shallow, back to the tailpiece. So with this setup, it just sounds a lot better. And it was, I don't know, I guess it was success.
Cool. And you're the man responsible for it. That's awesome.
Yeah, the Strats, it was just trying to make something. Guys complain that the strings fall off the sides. Guys complain about the trim arm. It's not where I want it to be with that threaded setup.
Right.
So I made it snap in like our Ultras did. Made a skinny rod out of chrome moly. So it snaps in. You can adjust the tension. It's a little bit narrower spacing. I added some natural bottom end in the material and plating in the process.
Okay.
So people, if you tell them, they'll notice. When I made the first ones, the protos, I had guys come over and say, what do you notice about this, the difference? I'd take their vintage bridge off and put that one on. They know that guitar, and so they can hear the difference. I don't know what it is, but I like it, you know. So that was cool.
So a lot more went into.
Yeah, I'm all about the sound of the thing. I mean, I would design a completely new bridge. I can't, you know. I have constraints that I have to work in. It's really difficult sometimes, but I try to be vintage Fender if I can, and work around that and just make something a little better.
That's what you want.
Yeah,
we want to hold on to what the Fender sound is.
Yeah, that's
and all we add. Yeah, it's
that's the preference of my customer. You know, that's what they want to see. Well, I will say, after being here for 31 years, that everything that our PL10, our production line, and the custom shop has been constantly improving. Fit and finish, playability, all those things. Every time we come up with a new, you know, people that like a quiet stack coil pickup, each one, the N3, the N4, they keep getting better. So I see constant improvement. Yeah, that's great.
Well, Scott, thanks so much for your time.
Yeah.
It was enlightening. I learned a lot. Keep up the great work.
If you have any ideas or need anything, you let me know, and I'd be happy to work on them for you.
That's awesome, and that's an invitation to you folks. When you come into the store, if there's something, we got the connection right here with Fender, Scott. So if there's ever anything that I'm sure we'd love to hear about it, and so would they. So thanks again.
All right.
And knock on the door. This is where Josephina's at, where she winds all the pickups.
Hello, hi, Josephina, how are you?
So good to see you again. Oh, this is the famous lady in charge of hand-wound pickups. Oh, good. What a beautiful new. Oh, I like the new office.
Yeah,
the new headquarters.
nice and bright, very bright.
Boy.
Yeah.
Come on in and look at the place where hand-wound pickups. All. This is where it all got started.
Yeah. Yep. And Josephina initially trained with Abigail Ybarra, who was one of the first pickup winders that we had. She worked for Leo Fender. And Josephina and Abigail became very good friends, and about 5 years you actually apprenticed for her, right? Yeah. So, and then Abigail retired, and Josephina was able to walk right in and take over from there.
And what I understand is you are now have trained 3 or 4 new. You're teaching someone else? No.
Well, there's some cross training going on with things. Yeah. So it's shared knowledge that go on, and she also works with a lot of the builders too that wind their own pickups.
Sure.
Like Paul Waller winds his own pickups sometimes. Dale Wilson does, and Dale works with Josephina on what their spec wants to do.
I see.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And we're winding one right now.
She's scatter winding one right now.
Wow.
She makes it look so easy. If I were to do it, it would immediately break, and I'd have to rethread it, and it would be all day to not even get one pickup made for me. But she makes it look like it's nothing to it. So which one are you winding right now, Josephina? What's the model? Is it that 50 snack?
Oh, yeah, 50s.
Yeah. What would you say is one of the more favorite aspects of your job, of what you do?
For me, I love
all of it.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That was special.
Always special.
Yeah. And she gets a lot of feedback too, which is always nice to hear. You know, she'll have people when they play her pickups, they'll thank her for them, and they'll ask what she's working on now, and so she loves to be able to talk about things like that.
That is.
Yeah.
Well, I have to tell you, your pickups from so many of our customers who
play the standard ones and then play yours, they won't buy a guitar now without it. So you have made a
lot of fans.
A lot of fans, yeah. So the players of Chicago love your pickup. So thank you for doing such a great job.
Thank you for choosing my pickups and I'm grateful for doing it.
Well, you keep up the good work. We'll let you go back to work, and thank you for the time.
No, thank you for visiting us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Bye-bye now.
Bye. Thank you.
Well, that was a special treat.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome back. We're in the Fender Custom Shop lounge, and I'm here with Mike Thorn, who is you're in charge of like procuring all the wood for all Fender,
every bit of it,
from Squire all the way
all the way up the chain,
all the way up to Masterbuilder and Custom Shop. And what we have in front of us, looks like
some different flavors. So a lot of what I do is more based around the artisan line.
Okay.
So where we take more figured woods, put them on more, I would say, known quantities of bodies, and mix those two tone woods together with Mike Lewis's pickups and hardware combinations.
Okay.
So I've got a few things here that we haven't done so far that you're going to get a chance to take a look at. We're probably looking at these for 2019, 2020, but you're just a bit ahead of the schedule.
Nice.
So
Very
it's kind of cool.
Let me tell you, some of the artisan series that you came out with, when that came out with, I think in 2017, which is
thanks.
spectacular.
I love doing that. That's my favorite job in the whole company, actually, is being able to do those, because you get to get outside the box a little bit, right?
Sure.
It's not a regular production guitar. It's a little bit. I can take woods that the production guys can't work with.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And what's neat is, there's always been an occasional beautiful piece of wood on a Strat or a Telecaster, but never like a whole series of wood themed guitars. And let me tell you, the reaction has been phenomenal. I mean, it's
great.
It's been so well received. So
that makes
excited.
Me feel good. Yeah. Well, here's a couple things that I've actually been playing with. I'm a big one for experimenting with different woods on different substrates and different models. This is Buehl maple.
Oh yeah, cool.
On an alder body. And I'm not quite certain exactly what neck and pickup combination would go with it, but if we can get this one built out, this is a Strat, as you can tell by the arm contour on it already. I've seen it with just clear finish on it, but don't quite know what we might paint it with. I'll sit down with Mike and Joe, and I don't have any here with me. But this is an idea of something we could do more than one or two.
Okay.
I sort of have a special palette of this. It doesn't really meet any of the quilt, flame, maple kind of normal criteria. So I set those aside and save those for when somebody comes in, like an event like this, and say, hey, guess what we've got that nobody knows we have.
Oh, nice. And I think one of the beautiful things, these are team-built pieces.
Yes.
So we don't have to get up into master build pricing. So for all you folks out there looking at this incredible wood, these are very affordable.
Yeah, in the whole scheme of things, absolutely. Even a guy like I could afford one. This would be something I would say is very in that same similar vein. So this would be something that over the years the maple mills have a hard time finding a home for, because it's not a white flame or a white quilt.
I see.
Some of the logs naturally have dark streaking through them that make it difficult to make a guitar that's repeatable out of it. But the whole thing about the Artisan series is we don't want it to be completely repeatable. They all need to be individualistic and have their own character to them.
Sure.
So these have these dark streaks through it, yet it's still got some of the other flame and things like that going to it that the finish really picks up on it when you put a finish on it. This one's on alder, I believe, as well, which is sort of my go-to wood, but I'm not certain that that's maybe the way that we would go, or maybe pick something different, maybe mahogany. We'll try a couple different things.
Nice.
So speaking of mahogany, the next one that I've got to show you is a little bit different. It's hard to work with, so we don't normally do it here, and that would be the crotch mahogany. So that's where two limbs start separating. It's that wood that grows in between the two. So you can see it tends to want to check and split a lot because the grain's going in a lot of different directions. But in the custom shop, we can actually work with the wood like this. And when you see it all finished, you would see it in high-end Queen Anne furniture, that sort of thing. Philadelphia high boy antique furniture, they would use that sort of thing for the raised panel doors in. Wow. They don't normally put it in a lot of parts of it because it's very difficult to work, and with hand tools it's especially difficult. This will look absolutely gorgeous with a clear finish on it. And this would be great on like a thin line mahogany body, where you really get a lot out of the top. So it's got some really wild figure to it. Next one up is just a regular figured mahogany. Doesn't look much different than anything else other than these logs actually sunk to the bottom of the river in Belize about 100 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So as they were logging them, it used to be that they took all the logs down the river to the sawmill. That's the best way to transport them, especially in the jungle where there aren't roads. But some of them get caught up in other things in the river and they sink down to the bottom. They now go back in and take those old growth original logs, pull them up and saw lumber out of them. So this is actually a sinker mahogany, figured sinker mahogany.
Okay.
So it might be cool to pair that up with a mahogany body as well, but maybe with a sinker mahogany neck, which is a little denser than the other mahogany. It's the reason it sank in the first place.
Sure.
But that extra density in a mahogany neck actually adds a lot to the sound. A little bit more resonant than a regular mahogany neck. This is one of my favorites. I used to do a lot of this with another acoustic guitar manufacturer out here in California, and it's figured sapele. So this is out of Africa. It gets a little different type figure to it. It's much more like a blister, and it comes in varying degrees. Most of these go into veneer logs, but some they actually saw up into guitar sets. You wouldn't see a lot of these in an acoustic because it's not the best acoustic wood as far as an acoustic guitar goes, but great top wood on electric. So I've got a few of those that I'm playing around with right now. This is another figured genuine mahogany, just different figure. This one's more like a quilt maple type figure. Almost getting to, I'm sure you've heard of the tree.
Sure.
Right? So it's almost getting to be that type of figure.
Okay.
Another set of something very similar to it. This one's probably my favorite. This is a really highly figured pomele sapele. So when it gets really super small quilty blister in sapele, they call that figure pomele. Usually these are veneer logs, but every so often they actually saw one up. This one has just unbelievable figure to it.
Yeah.
So I don't have a definitive plan what to build out of this yet, but how can you not build something out of this?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's pretty outstanding.
So this would be in the same vein, but obviously a little bit different. I kind of dig this one because it's got a few unusual little characteristics to it that make it different from any other one. You know, you wouldn't get another set that's exactly like that.
Right.
So actually these come big enough that you could do any instrument on. You could do a Strat, a Telecaster, a bass. Bass would be really cool in this. And there are a lot of acoustics that are made with sapele, but usually not figured. It's a little swirly to work with. This would be on the lower end side of that figured sapele. I would call it, this would be sort of a mid figure, but as you know, it's just more like a flame, not the pomele or a quilt.
Not a quilt.
Here's one fresh off the boat from Europe. So while we get a great swamp ash in the U.S., what we don't get is any figure in it. Very rarely do we get any figure in it. But in Europe, in the European ash, you occasionally find veneer logs that have a nice flame in the ash. It's too heavy to actually make a full solid body guitar out of, but it makes a great top on a really light swamp ash body. It's a super combination. Because this flame jumps out at you like flame maple does, only it's ash.
Yeah, it looks like I would have.
Sounds a little different though.
Yeah.
So you might have noticed when you went through some of the Masterbuilder areas today, there's a couple guys building products with that right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks to me. I would have just guessed it would have been flame maple.
Looks like flame maple.
Exactly. Sure
Yep.
does. Sure does.
You can feel it. Well,
It's heavier.
if you feel it, it's a little bit heavier. Yep.
Yeah.
And they have the same issues in Europe with ash that we do here. That there's a small bug that is slowly killing off ash in both the U.S. and Europe. So eventually, ash will be almost impossible to get.
Or so expensive.
Yeah, it'll only be stuff that was cut a long time ago, that sort of thing. Like you would get Brazilian or something like that. So for myself, I love to get ash body guitars knowing that it's a finite sort of resource. So just another example of this would be great with color to it. Put all kinds of different color to it. Burst would be beautiful in it. Nice dye where it really picks up the figure.
Sure. Sure. Beautiful. Man, some nice wood. Real nice wood.
And then those combinations, obviously you can put these with roasted maple necks.
Yeah.
It might be quartered, might be bird's eye, might be flame, might be just a roasted neck with a different fretboard on it. Like imagine this with an ebony fretboard or like a nice streaky ebony fretboard would be kind of a cool combo. Add a lot of character to it.
Definitely. I'm impressed. I love some of this wood.
Which one are you going to take, Frank?
Well, take them all.
We can make it. They're kind of a kit form. We can make them into anything.
Yeah, no, there's some great possibilities here. We'll have to study them and.
Well, I built a couple of these bodies, at least the spreads out into. I have one P base and one J base on a really super light ash, swamp ash body, and I haven't. It's not like I'm building it for anybody. It just seemed like a natural combo to me. So at some point I'll build it up into something, but it just sort of screamed out to me that that'll look great on here. A really light figured ash bass. I'm not a bass player at all. I own one, but I can't say I could play anything on it.
No, these were great. Thanks so much for sharing them with us. This is an exciting chapter in Custom Shop because. Like I said, what you started last year is just going to continue on, and adding these exotic woods is just a real big plus.
And these are all new from things that we haven't done in the past. So we still have some of the other woods that we're still running.
Looking forward to it. Well, hey, thanks so much for your time on this.
You're welcome anytime. I love doing this.
I gotta admit, that was my favorite trip to the Custom Shop. I mean, of all time. I've never learned, seen, or heard more. And the factory, it just looks amazing. I mean, how about Paul Waller shaping those necks at the belt sander? I mean, come on. How cool was that? And thanks to all the people that were involved in this at Fender, especially Paul Van Name, our cameraman. He's our Midwest rep. Paul was with me the whole time. Thanks, Paul. And Mike Gagan, my man at the Custom Shop, who organized this whole thing, got everybody together. Thanks, Mike. Mike Lewis and Joe Reynoso, they're the guys who gave us the green light, got me permission to kind of steal the employees for the day. Thank you guys for that. Thank all of you so much for an unforgettable learning experience that you've allowed us to bring home, share with our friends and our customers. And hey, thanks to you guys out there for watching this video. Hopefully, you'll have learned at least a few things, gained some insight, ignited your passion, and I'm going to come back. I'm already planning my next trip. I think next time I'll bring a microphone. How's that? Okay? Make sure you guys like us, follow us, or subscribe so you don't miss a beat on our next trip. And I'll look for you down the road. Frank from Music Gallery saying many thanks again. Bye-bye.
Yeah!